This episode is brought to you by Ariston Specialties in Bloomfield, Connecticut. They're makers of amazing olive oils and other Greek delights. Check them out online at aristonspecialties.com. That's Ariston, Ariston, specialties.com. Okay, the wine world is filled with experts who insist that we need to get smarter about wine. I don't know about you, but I'm not sure we should pay attention to them, only if you want to get smarter about it. We say, drink what you like, try new things, and just have a good time. So we're offering on this show a few tips and wine recommendations too, to help you enjoy your wine anxiety-free. There's no need to feel intimidated. So on this, and besides, if you make a mistake when you order something or when you buy something, okay, that's fine. It's like anything. You make a mistake in cooking, you make a mistake in doing whatever. All right, on this fresh edition of our new podcast at faithmiddleton.com, and we all have favorite tips for tasting wine. With anything, you can get as into wines as you want. You can find wines that are more healthy because the company hasn't put in junky additives. They're good additives and bad additives. So we're here to help out. As always, I'm back with the Food Schmooze Party All-Stars, Chris Prosperi, chef and co-owner of Metro Beast in Simsbury, Connecticut, Alex Provins, who lives in Phoenix, Hartford, and Madison, Connecticut, confusing all his friends, Mark Raymond, a wine guy and home cook, and our associate producer, Joanne Church. And also thanks today for production assistance, Mary Caesar, production help. She does amazing things. She once built Google City for Google. And so She said, I'll volunteer for you on the show and do some things. I'm like, oh my God. So, and I'm going to quiz these folks because this book has come out, Big Macs and Burgundy. And it's a book about pairing everyday stuff with wine, all kinds of things. And it explains wine. For instance, which wine tastes good with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Now, it's not a stupid book because actually there are wines that taste better with peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, Mark and Alex are the real wine guys. Mark, let's start with you because we're going to get to Alex's list. So Mark, what's a tip you give when you see that someone's intimidated or doesn't know something? What's a tip that you give?
Wow. I just like to keep wine as simple as possible. And I've always been kind of to your point in the beginning, drink what you like what you drink. There's no rhyme or reason to it, I think, if that's what you want. For me, when I'm with a group of people that they seem they're little, kind of intimidated, I guess, when we're at dinner, I start pouring and let's start talking about the wine. Put your nose. The first thing I do is I always put my nose in it, and it annoys my wife to no end because she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Listen, if you're going to enjoy this glass, you got to get your nose in there. You got to see what it's all about." And that's where it starts. I get my nose in there, and that's where you find if there's a wine that's kind of off-putting right off the bat. If it may be a little bit funky, a little bit spoiled, you're going to pick it up right on the nose. If it's sweaty socks or, a little musty, those are the first signs that it might not be a good wine to drink.
Okay. So, but this thing is, we're not talking about affect, right, Alex? We're talking about, all the rituals of it all, which are great. But we're talking about your nose goes in there because smell really dictates taste. And so, if you ask smell scientists, they say, oh, yeah, your taste ability is based on how much you can smell. Totally. So that's why that goes on. So that's what we're explaining. Okay, Chris, what's your thing? About wine.
I read through what Alex sent, and there was one part that really hit me what I like to do, and it comes from my friend Lee White. And she's been doing this as long as I've known her. And, Lee throws some great dinner parties, and there's always wine. And she doesn't really fuss with it too much. She has a store, a wine shop that she goes to that she's been shopping in for years. And she always says the same thing. I want 6 white and 6 red. Or I want 2 bottles of each, 6 white and 6 red. Do you know what I mean? She just goes in. She's developed this trust with the guy at this store, and he'll ask her questions like when she comes back. Oh, how did you like the last one? She'll be like, oh, this one, and I didn't like it. So he's got a Rolodex in his head of what she likes. Building that relationship with the wine person takes all the weight off you. And the best part about Lee's the way she does it, and she's like always like, the wine's over there, they're really good, I have no idea about them.
I love that. Oh my God, I love that.
And you can tell them price as well. So don't just give them carte blanche and say you end up with that's too expensive. Tell them I want like $15 wine.
Yes.
I
or
want to,
or 120 and everything under 10. You can really work with your wine guy and have him give you whatever you want.
Or you can just, quietly say to the person who's serving, I want to spend about this much money. And don't be afraid if you say, I want to spend $20 or $25. Don't be intimidated. Sometimes that's where the best, most wonderful, unusual wines are.
Yeah.
So Alex, talk about that price thing.
No, you're so right. So the trick is when sommeliers know their wine list better than anyone, because they're the ones who are building it. They're tasting wines for the sales rep every day. Right. They know their menu. Their whole lives are about wine. So they can get kind of geeky. So you don't need to know what they know, but use them to help you at a restaurant, because they know what has worked with other guests and what makes people smile. And so, but a wine list can be so varies in price point. So I point at like a number that I want to hit. So there's times when I know, I don't want to spend a ton of money at a restaurant. I want to find like a $40 or $50 wine that's like really good, and they exist. It becomes like a challenge. So you just point at the number, the price that you want to be around, and sort of be like, I'd like something like this. And your finger is discreetly on a price point. And a som is trained to sort of say, oh, interesting, without saying, oh, so you only want to spend $25. Right? They're not going to embarrass you. They're going to be like, okay. And then they're going to come back and be like, oh, I have this amazing Spanish wine that we just got a case in. It's from from some company that I love. It's so good. Here, try it. And they'll hit that price point. They always do. There's, so.
That's it.
So now people, whether they can or cannot go to restaurants, you never quite know where this is going to be. Some restaurants do delivery of wine now.
Oh, yeah.
Some others, but you're still, probably fooling around with the price, because really how many people can afford to do, you're probably going to, if you're with a few people, you're going to, safe friends, you're going to blow through a couple bottles of wine. And now we're at $100, $150. Yeah. It's a lot of money for people.
Oh, yeah.
So it also depends on who you're with, too, because, when we take our parents out for dinner, you're going to split the bill. It's not always fair to charge a ton for, to buy a really expensive bottle when your family or friends or whatever aren't huge wine drinkers, or they don't want to, it's too decadent to spend $100 on a bottle. So you kind of have to know who you're with, too. And, so it's not just being thrifty, it's being smart. So you're not making your guests, right? Like at the end, and they're in the cart home, they ordered the most expensive bottle.
Yeah.
Going out with them again.
One of the ways I find good wine sometimes is I'll go to a restaurant and look what they're pouring by the glass. And then that's a good way of tasting a bunch of different wines, and if it's a decent restaurant, they'll give you a little like half-ounce pour or 1 ounce pour just to taste things. And you really get like, wow, can I see, then you make notes and write down. And the next time you're at a wine shop, you're like, I had this at a restaurant. I really liked it. Can you get it for me? That's a great way to find wines that you like because you've already tasted it and you've had it with food.
Or if you don't have, Chris, if you don't have time to take notes, everybody has their phone with them all the time.
Oh yeah, take a
picture of the label.
Done.
Go into the package store or your fine wine shop, show them the label. They'll be able to get it for you.
Yeah, easily.
So all of us on the show, we love wines. If we were at one another's homes or we were out somewhere together or you're with people who like wine, then that's really fun. But what if you're bringing it home? You really don't know. So many people don't know what they're doing. And I never blame them because like in certain countries, we haven't grown up with wine in quite the same way. And so I spent years studying different wines, but, not everybody's reading books and all. People aren't necessarily. I loved wine. Even when I was in college, I would buy, some white Burgundy and I would think, wow, listen, this is delicious. So what do you do if you don't know what you're doing? Besides pointing at the number,
You're saying we're at a restaurant now?
Well, it could be delivered. You're at a wine store. You're at a wine store.
So wine store, again, is an easy one because you find a store that's passionate about selling wine. And oftentimes the person that's at the counter that seems like they're bored out of their mind is just waiting for someone to come through and have a wine conversation with them. And like what Chris says, you just tell them kind of, they know how to ask the questions. It's like, what is that game? 20 questions. Mm-hmm. They'll ask questions to get to the right outcome for you. Like, okay, so let's start easy. What are you going to have for dinner? What are you serving with? I'm not serving with anything. I just want something for the porch. Okay, white or red? And they'll go through their methodology and you'll make their day because they're so happy to like have people to come in and talk to you rather than just like buying the same bottle every day and going like, it's fun for them. It's their world.
I think you really, for people that you have to get over that fear, because I was in a wine shop not that long ago and there was a couple shopping for wine. And this is it's a big wine shop. And that's the thing. It can get intimidating like this. There has to be a couple hundred different selections at this wine shop. I mean, and they were standing in front of wines from Lebanon, and they're like, oh my God, there's wine from Lebanon now. And, how do you keep up with it? And, I'm the one who told them you should just go up and ask, because I know the wine shop, go up and ask. And you could see they were kind of intimidating, but you got to get over that fear and just ask. They're there to help you. And they're not going to steer you wrong because they want you to become a regular customer. They want you to come back. So start off with the price, then tell them go through the question and answer thing with them. And like Alex said, they're going to love you for it because that's why they're there. That's their passion.
So here's a wine that Mark turned me on to, and it's a Cabernet Sauvignon. So that's a real red one. This is from, I think, the Valpolicella region of Italy again. And it's that winery we were talking about before, Le Ragose, Leragose. But before we run out of time, this is a Rosso Veronese. Anyway, it's a Cab Sauvignon. It's red. And Mark, quickly, how much is this and how would you describe this flavor profile? Because I did the same thing I did last time. I drank this last night. Okay.
This is a wonderful Cabernet from the hillsides of Valpolicella in Verona. And it is absolutely juicy and fresh. It does spend about two years in small oak barrel. So traditional sort of handling of aging with Cabernet. So you get this wonderful spice note and richness to it and mouthfeel. But it's got dark berry fruit. It's absolutely wonderful, but it is a little bit on the pricier side. This is very small production. They're known for making their Amarone and their Valpolicella. But this is a little sort of experimental vineyard that they make about 3,000 cases of this a year.
Oh,
So very,
wow.
very small.
How much
allocation
is
to this.
that? How much is that one?
This is about $40 retail. So
Wow.
yeah, a little bit more
Okay.
on the expensive side.
So
Yeah.
there's your special gift wine
Yeah.
for
There
your
it
real
is.
wine lover.
There
There
it is.
it is.
Or special
But
occasion,
Faith,
right?
with people staying at home though, you can for $40 you cook a really wonderful dinner special at home, and then 40 is not that expensive if you compare it to a wine, what you'd pay on a wine list for something. So then you just say
Right.
this is a
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Alex. What is like that's something I think people should know. If you spend $40 at a wine shop, on average, what is that? I mean, I know what my markups, but an average in the industry, what is that in a restaurant?
You're looking at probably double,
Yeah.
a little bit more.
A little bit more than
So,
double.
yeah.
So that would
80,
be so,
90.
yeah.
Yep.
So now we're talking
Okay.
about a really good deal.
Here's this one. You just heard Mark say that this La Ragosa also makes that, they make these kind of small production wines, but they're all over the place. You can get these. This is an Amarone. And that's that raisiny wine, deep red, incredible character. You better, you want to have some red sauce, some pasta, maybe some sausages, broccoli rabe. That stuff, that goes with this wine very much. Amarone, Amarone. So Mark, tell us about this one and how, usually these are pretty expensive. What do you got here?
This is a style of wine. Amarone is the style of wine, not the grapes, which is a little bit different here when you're looking at the label. And what they do is they dry the grapes for 100 days and on straw mats in temperature controlled rooms. And then they press those raisin grapes to get this super extracted, concentrated juice. And they vinify it or ferment it out. So it's a dry wine. And you get this wonderful, rich, God, Alex, help me here. This is just, it's so intense, but
concentrated
juice with beautiful dark berries, but yet you can actually taste the raisins. You can taste that the grapes have been dried.
Mark,
And,
you were saying how you like to stick your nose in a wine, a second ago. And Amarone is a wine that you do that, right? Like it's something you don't even need food. You can just a big, beautiful glass of it and then go sit with friends and just you can just get lost in a wine like that.
Or have this with a beautiful cheese, an Italian cheese, a hard cheese.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or Faith with a chocolate dessert, a rich dark chocolate dessert would be
How much
perfect
is
with
it?
it
How
as
much
well.
is this? How much is this? You hiding this?
This is this is somewhere. You'll see this somewhere between $70 and $80 a bottle.
I know. So
Retail.
you would want to split that with another family member or friends that makes this rare experience you're going to have. The small wine from in Italy.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to recommend this book, which is one of possibly the best wine book I've ever read. It's called Big Macs and Burgundy. And it's about how to pair for the real world, the way we really eat. There are wines to have with things that would be fun if people are coming over to taste, or if you're just doing it among your family members. I mean, like what goes with a Krispy Kreme donut? Well, you can find out. If you're having, a Shake Shack burger to go, which wine goes with that? It turns out it's an Australian Shiraz. It's not so expensive. They're usually pretty well made, right, Alex?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's great. I feel bad for Australia. Honestly, that's a country that they kind of lost their identity, but there's still so many good wines there. I kind of feel like we need to revisit Australia again. So good recommendation.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Let's go on a road trip.
We'll be in charge. We'll be in charge of that research. Stick with us because we have all kinds of names of wines for you. Does anybody in the last few minutes of this fresh edition of the Food Schmooze have a particular wine recommendation? So I just did 2 here. So do you have, what's your go-to wine for the weeknight dinner at home? Do you have one?
Yeah, I do Prosecco.
Yeah.
I'm doing
What?
Prosecco Prosecco right now. I just love it. I don't know why. I just find it goes with anything I'm eating, from burgers to pasta. I keep a couple bottles in the fridge. The price point is amazing.
Puts you in a good mood.
Puts you in a good mood. It has little bubbles. And if I'm not in the mood for like a lot of alcohol, I'll cut it with some soda, and I'm still having a great time. So Prosecco's my go-to.
So everybody should have a Monday through Friday wine that's like a workhorse. That's like not super expensive, really well made, not going to give you a headache. You trust that you can just open a bottle that's not going to break the bank, that you can have and watch TV with, and it's just your go-to. And then you can have special wines that you want to concentrate on and really pay attention. But just having, for us, we drink Côte d'Aron and rosé. Yep. Just, as a daily sort of thing. Rosés are so cheap and delicious. Yeah. And then Côte d'Arons go with everything, and they're French appellation, so they're well made. They're inexpensive, and you just, and that's a work. And it's your workhorse. Yeah, that's what you.
I agree.
And then when people are like, "Oh, my grandfather used to drink out of like a little glass. He never had like fancy glasses,
like a rocks
none
glass.
Of the swirling." You need a one that you can just put in a juice glass, and you know what it's going to taste like. It's your milk.
Yeah,
it's
that's it.
It's
and then there's times you have good wine glasses, and you have like friends to share something, and then that's when you want to like really get into something. But
it's
what is that? You're riding your bike.
It's two different things. So let me say that on behalf of our associate producers, Joanne Church and Mary Caesar, on behalf of the all-stars, the rock stars, whom I love like crazy, we have Alex Province, Mark Raymond, Chris Pressberry. I'm Faith Middleton, and we'll see you with a new edition of the Food Schmooze Party next time. We're at faithmiddleton.com.